Ladies and gentlemen, this is TVP World. You're watching another edition of Break the Fake, where we debunk fake news and combat false narratives. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and let's get rolling. And now for a rather unique proposal coming out of Russia. Apparently, Andrei Svintsov, a Russian lawmaker, has taken a bold step backwards in time and proposed flogging be reinstated as a form of punishment in Russia. Flogging in 2024. It's like the Russian parliament has suddenly turned into an episode of Game of Thrones. Svintsov seemed to think that the best way to handle civil disobedience isn't through modern measures like, fines, community service, or heaven forbid, constructive dialogue. No, he wants to whip people into shape, literally, because nothing says 21st century government like reenacting medieval punishments. You've had to wonder what's next on Svintsov's agenda. Will he advocate for stocks in Red Square, public shaming parades, perhaps a good old-fashioned witch trial? At this rate, they might as well dust off the guillotine. Let's think about this. Imagine you're a Russian citizen just trying to live your life. You'd forget to pay a parking ticket or maybe criticize the government, and suddenly you're facing lashing. The very concept is both horrifying and absurd, like a Monty Python sketch that's gone horribly, horribly wrong.
Что вторжение в Украину – это ошибка. Не это ой, мы против войны, понятно, что все против войны. Конкретно вот это вторжение – это ошибка.
Мы категорически осуждаем военную агрессию со стороны Российской Федерации в отношении Украины.
Нужно ли запрещать выступать, то есть зарабатывать в России вот таким артистам? Вы у нас законодательная власть. Как вы к такому, законодательному ограничению относитесь?
Знаете, я предлагал решение для тех, кто раскаялся. Не для тех, кто не раскаялся, а тех, кто раскаялся. Для тех, кто раскаялся, на Красную площадь 20 ударов плетью, публичное извинение и дальше разрешить продолжать свою предпринимательскую деятельность, но с новой налоговой ставкой. Вот сейчас мы принимаем государственную Думу повышенный НДФЛ. Здесь еще более повышенный в размере 95%.
Какое это блистательное предложение имеет отношение к законодательству, вообще к закону? Андрей Ильич, вы что-то какую-то опричнину, по-моему,
почему?
предлагаете.
Если люди выступают официально против своего государства...
давайте мы их как-то официально... Зачем их плетью?
Мы же не можем... Обязательно. Плетью обязательно. В Сингапуре палкой им бьют. У нас надо вернуть в том числе и физическое наказание. Люди...
давайте им языки вырвем.
Нет,
знаете, вот раньше...
у них это инструмент.
Раньше вору отрубали руку.
And what's truly astounding that this isn't some fringe idea. This is coming from a member of the Duma, the place where laws are supposed to be made to protect and serve the people. It's almost like the Russian government is running a competition for who can come up with the most regressive, backward-looking policy. So here we are, folks. While the rest of the world debates AI ethics, climate change, and human rights, part of the Russian government are pondering the merits of a good old flogging. It's a stark reminder that progress isn't always a given. Sometimes it's a one step forward, two medieval whips back. Let's dive into the latest saga from our favorite geopolitical double act, Russia and Belarus. There's an ongoing migrant surge at the Polish eastern border engineered by the dynamic duo, and the Polish government under Donald Tusk is on the brink of closing the last two open border crossings with Belarus. Yes, Belarus, the country that not only ships migrants to the border, but also arms them with dangerous objects. Tragically, one Polish soldier has already been stabbed to death by one of their rivals. Now, here's where it gets rich. The Belarusian government, through their foreign minister Sergei Alenik, commented on the situation. Surprise, surprise, he conveniently forgot to mention that this whole migrant business is being orchestrated by Belarusian state security. You see, Russia and Belarus have artificially created this migration route and can shut it down whenever they want to. Radosław Sikorski, Poland's foreign minister, is considering closing all border crossings with Belarus. He's carefully analyzing the potential consequences for the Polish economy and the local communities. And why not? Well, Finland did the same with Russia, and their problem mostly vanished. Maybe it's time for Poland to take a page from Finland's playbook. Let's not forget, Belarus has a lot more to lose here. Their economy heavily relies on goods shipped between Asia and Europe. Yet they keep poking the bear. Well, the eagle in this case, by perpetuating this crisis. So as we watch this border drama unfold, remember it's not just about migration, it's about a desperate regime trying to destabilize its neighbors while pretending to be a victim. And all the while, Russia and Belarus continue their grand tradition of geopolitical theater, complete with tragic heroes, scheming villains, and never-ending supply of plot twists. Staying with absurdities, another day, another episode of threats and lies from Russian propagandist Vladimir Solovyov. What's new, you ask? Well, nothing really, it's the same old songs, rehashed and repackaged into oblivion. This time around, Solovyov said that the West has never fulfilled a single commitment or promise, and that's coming from the chief clown carrying water for an imperialist regime, which apparently always keeps its promises. But hey, if you swap the West for Russia in his latest rant, it'll suddenly all start to make sense.
При этом считаешь, что ты идиот, и тебя можно регулярно обманывать, как это происходит веками. Надо понимать логику Запада. Нет ни одного обязательства, которое Запад бы дал кому угодно, которое он выполнил. Как только это становилось невыгодно, Запад плевал на любые договоренности. Сдавал любых ситуативных или временных союзников. Шел всегда к своей жестко намеченной цели. Они четко и ясно планируют переход конфликта в новую стадию. Почему для них так страшно Северная Корея? Ну, а потому что полетела и полетела. И с помощью технологий, которые они могут получить, они будут пробивать любой город на территории Соединенных Штатов. И тут американцы впервые начнут думать, а что, получается, танго можно танцевать вдвоем?
You see, the thing is that it's actually Russia that keeps doing the things that he's talking about, but he needs to redirect the blame and put it on the West. Funny enough, after the last meeting between Putin and Kim Jong-un, Solovyov has been looking happy. Why? Because now he can threaten America with North Korean arms. It's like him playing this annoying schoolyard game. It's North Korea that would be attacking, not us, but hey, we'll be here on the sidelines. But North Korea is our friend, so we would probably get involved, but not really. All that jazz. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was finally released after he was sentenced by a US court in Cyprus to time already served. For those of you that need a refresher, WikiLeaks is a nonprofit that made a name for itself, leaking documents classified secret by governments in the world over. One of its biggest releases involved top-secret US military documents and videos from the war Washington waged in Iraq and Afghanistan in the early to mid-2000s. The leak highlighted issues such as the abuse of prisoners in US custody, human rights violations, and civilian deaths. US authorities said the leaks were reckless, damaged national security, and endangered the lives of its operatives.
Mr. Assange, any comment? Julian, how are you feeling? You prefer the one here to one Mr. Assange, any comment to your supporters out there?
Assange, a native of Australia, was arrested in April 2019 at the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where he had been staying since 2012. He sought asylum at the embassy to avoid extradition to Sweden on a rape allegation that he denied and claimed was a ploy to hand him over to the United States. After his arrest, he was sentenced to 50 weeks in jail for breaching his bail condition and had been in London's maximum security Belmarsh prison ever since. Okay, so why are we talking about this on Break the Fake? Well, it seems that it doesn't have any direct links to Russia. Assange is not some Russian national who needs to be rescued from a Western prison. But the context is broader. Russia likes to position itself as a fighter against the dictates of the collective West. That way, Moscow wants to attract sympathetic states, critics of Western elites, foreign anti-establishment opposition, both marginalized conservatives and desperate leftists. By embracing a figure like Assange, Russia takes a side in the internal conflicts of the broader West, making them its own. This also allows it to deflect from and obscure the fact that in Russia, you can't be charged just for a regular post on your Instagram that the government decided that it doesn't like. And with that, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. But for more news update and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.